Hello, Super Duper Squad, and thank you so much for joining me for another Deck Tech. Today is Monday, so I hope you guys had a wonderful and healthy weekend. Um, Unfortunately, I have been super busy, so I haven't been able to stay on top of things too much this weekend with Snap and being able to play as much. But this deck I found on Snap Fan with ninaisnoob as the creator, so I figured why not go ahead and give it a shot. So this is more of a fun deck. I know most of you guys like to see the decks that have crazy high win rates and are going to get you those crazy big wins, but this is more of just a fun deck. So this is a Mr. Negative deck with Super-Skrull and Black Panther, so a couple interesting cards in here, cards you normally wouldn't really see in a Mr. Negative deck. But it's got a little bit of a hybrid taste to it, so I like it, and I'm going to just kind of go over the cards and explain to you what I think the cards are best for and how things need to be played out. So again, thank you for all the support on the YouTube channel, also with Twitter and Twitch. I appreciate you all. Again, I do stream about 3 to 4 times a week. This week I'll be streaming 3 times on Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday, so around 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, so I hope to see you guys there. Thanks again for all the support. Remember to like, comment, and subscribe, and all that good stuff. So we start off with Zabu, one of the most obvious cards pretty much in every deck. So here Zabu takes Mr. Negative, Super-Skrull, and puts them down to 3 cost instead of 4 cost. So it's a great card to have in this deck. Obviously, mostly Zabu is one of those cards where if you draw it in your game or draw it by turn 2 to be able to play it on turn 2, you're usually in a pretty good spot. Ravonna is pretty standard here, so she takes all your cards with 1 or less power and gives them 1 less cost. So for this deck, that includes Ironheart, Mystique, Mr. Negative, Iron Man, Arnim Zola, and Knull. So that's a ton of cards. That's like at least half or more than half of the cards in your deck that this affects. So having her down by turn 2 or turn 3 is gigantic. Ironheart is fantastic for the if you do have Iron Man down plus Mystique in another lane. Giving Ironheart, you have to remember every time it hits one of those cards that's in that Iron Man lane is going to give it plus 4 power instead of plus 2 power. So the actual card itself will get to plus 2 power, but on top of the Iron Man, it's doubling it, so it's giving it another 2 power on top of it. So it's a great card to have in there, especially if you get this card Mr. Negative, and then it's just a 0-3 that's giving out 6 more power across the board, and 12 more if you have Iron Mans. So great card to have here. Obviously, you want to most likely play this card on when you have it at a 0 power a 0 cost and not at a 3 cost. Otherwise, it'll just kind of feel bad. Mystique here is to copy your Super-Skrull, your Iron Man, or your Knull. So those, you could also, I guess you could use it for Zabu and Ravonna Renslayer if you really wanted to. But this is mainly just for like those big cards that have those big time effects. Again, you want to have this Mr. Negative so that it's a 0 cost 3 power card. Obviously makes it crazy. And then here you have Magik, which of course Magik is almost kind of necessary here to pull off the big turns. There are some situations where this deck can pull off some nice stuff by turn 6, and you can end up winning, but you really have to have the nuts in hand, meaning that you just kind of have to really have like the best draws and the best plays that you possibly could have in order to pull it off. But having a turn 7 here is fantastic. The only thing that I am not a fan of with Magik decks is if you do play anybody that has Scarlet Witch or Legion or Reality Stone or anything like that, they can just get rid of it and then you're in some deep trouble. So maybe saving this for like turn 5 to throw your opponent off a little bit, or to give them time to already play those cards might be beneficial. Mr. Negative is the star of the deck here. So Mr. Negative swaps the power and cost of all the cards in your deck. So we have things that can benefit from that are obviously Ironheart would be 0 cost, Mystique would be 0 cost, Magik would be Magik would that wouldn't work for Magik. Then you have Super-Skrull would be 2 cost, you have Iron Man would be 0 cost, you have Black Panther would be 4 cost, and And then you'd have Zola and Knull at 0 cost. So you have a bunch of cards here that really benefit from this changing. And obviously, if you have like Ravonna on the board, then your cards are even less power, or cost even less to play out. So you really want to have Mr. Negative on the board. This is the main card for the deck. I feel like I'm doing a not so great of a job explaining this one. I don't have too much experience with it, so once we get into the games, I'll try to explain things a little bit further. Super-Skrull is here. Obviously, the biggest thing for this is having, if you don't really want to play this if you know you're playing against a deck that isn't ongoing. So if you're coming up against something that is anything but an ongoing deck, this card is kind of a little dead and doesn't really do much for you. So you just have to keep an eye out and see what you're playing against. Iron Man, we've talked about this. Doubling the power at that lane is insane. It's a really great ability that has been in the game for a very long time. So you want to obviously have this get Mystiqued, so that you have 2 lanes with Iron Man. And then on top of that, you know, if this gets Mr. Negative, it costs 0 and it's also 5 power. So it can be really strong. Black Panther is here. You can play back Black Panther, and then on turn 6, if you have Black Panther as the only card in the lane, then you can go ahead and Arnim Zola it. It is a pretty standard play nowadays, because then that makes the Black Panthers 16 power and puts 16 power into 2 different lanes. Jane, the Mighty Thor, is great here for drawing out the Mr. Negative cards. So if you play Mr. Negative on turn 4 and it makes all those other cards 0 cost, like Mystique, Iron Man, Zola, Knull, and Ironheart, you can go ahead and play this on turn 5 and draw all those cards from your deck, resulting in a crazy turn 6 or turn 7 play. Whether you are afraid if somebody's going to change that location, like I said, with the Magik, you might just want to play everything on turn 6, but you can also just wait and play a huge turn on turn 7 and end up winning the game. The only problem with this is usually when people see the combination of Mr. Negative on top of Jane Foster, they're probably going to quit because they know that there is going to be a lot coming at them. And then Zola, like I said, Zola is here for destroying that Black Panther. You could also use it for destroying something like Iron Man. There's just a lot of combinations here. You can even do it with like Ironheart or anything like that. That keeps on giving more and more power on the board. Again, it just depends on the situation that you're in and the locations that you have. So hopefully we'll come across that in the games that we play. And then we have Knull here. Obviously, Knull is mainly just here for whatever you destroy with the Arnim Zola. Knull probably isn't going to be extremely useful until you get a certain situation where you're destroying a lot of cards and making a lot of crazy things happen. But if you do come across a destroy deck, they probably won't be expecting you to be playing Knull, and that'll kind of throw them off a little bit. But this is ninaisnoob's deck, so hopefully you guys will enjoy this one. I'll put all of our information down below. You should know who she is by now. She's a huge Marvel Snap creator, so much props to her, and we'll send all that information in the description, and I'll try to make sure that I have the deck code in there, because I know a lot of people have been clamoring for that, so hopefully I can get that situated in the description. And on top of that, again, make sure to like, comment, subscribe, and I will see you guys in the matches. See ya. Alright, here we are for game number 1 with ninaisnoob's Mr. Negative deck. So the good news is we do have the Mr. Negative in hand. Bad news is we don't have any of our lower cost cards. But the good sign is here is that we're really going to want to draw either Zabu or Ravonna so we can play negative on turn 3. And we end up getting it, which is really good. I don't think we want to copy a card here. It doesn't really help us. So we're just going to play that over there. Okay, they're going to have double Zabu, which is a little scary. It's a little unfortunate that we drew the Iron Man there. Now we don't have the Iron Man as a 0 cost when we go ahead and play it into our hand. So hopefully we can find a way to... The double Zabu here is going to be really scary for us, I think. The nice thing, though, is that we do have a situation here where we can play Super-Skrull and get the Quinjet and Zabu abilities.
I am Iron Man.
And now we have the Iron Man ability, which is really good. So now we just kind of have a bunch of choices here that we want to make. We can pull out the Arnim Zola, which is probably what we want to do here. We pull out the Arnim Zola, we can Zola the Skrull down here, which would be really, really good. I think we can probably end up pulling this off. Sorry, my brain is just trying to remember how to play Mr. Negative decks, because I don't play them very often, so bear with me. I think this should be good, though.
I am Iron Man.
We also have the Mystique, which I actually forgot about, to be honest. I think if we just go here, we go here. Actually, hang on. Let me go Knull into Arnim Zola into Iron Man, Mystique, Ironheart. I think that's good enough. I don't even think we need to play the Sentinel, to be honest. So hopefully they don't have anything like Enchantress. If they do, we're probably in some trouble, but okay. Well, they go ahead and retreat, which makes sense. I mean, having the Super-Skrull on the board really kind of took them. They had the momentum until we had Super-Skrull, but Super-Skrull pretty much won us the game there. So, great game one for us. Sorry if I didn't have much commentary. I'm just trying to like remember everything that I have that's going on. But yeah, it was a good game one. We pretty much had them locked up. Obviously, we had a crazy turn here. When we destroyed the Knull, it was going to make the power over here crazy. We had an Iron Man in every single lane. So just a really good game for us, and I'll see you guys in game number 2. Here we are for game number 2. Hopefully we get a good game for you. I gotta be brutally honest with you guys. I think this is probably the 8th match that I've played now, and I just have not been getting the draws. That first game we had a really great hand, and we were able to get Mr. Negative out. Unfortunately, we just haven't been able to get you guys anything interesting lately. Been a lot of like 1-cube losses, so hopefully I can pull something off here, but again, you know, we have Ravonna into Mr. Negative on 3, but Knull, Mystique, and Zola are all in our hand, so that doesn't really help us much. Like right now, we have Iron Man and Ironheart, which is good, but it's not anything too crazy for us at the moment. We have to hope we don't draw one of those cards, and we don't, which is good. But at least we can do this. We can get the Mr. Negative out, which is nice. Again, like I said, this is just a fun deck. It's not a crazy win rate deck, so don't expect yourself to win a crazy amount of games with this. It's definitely not the most winningest deck in the world, but I wanted to show, you know, my support to someone who I really enjoy watching with Nina is Noob, and kind of show off something that she created. So, we could get rid of this. I think at this point we really do need a turn 7. I like the Ironheart. I think that's really good for us. But now they have Deadpool, who's 8 power, going to be 16, or sorry, 16 power is going to be 12 power now. And with us giving them an extra turn probably isn't good. The one nice thing is we do have Knull, so they aren't going to be expecting that more than likely. I think we just go ahead and play the Knull now.
Enough said, bub.
We can play Black Panther, which is fine. But But I think we probably want to copy that. Go ahead and... I don't even think we care about the Iron Man at this point. We have such a good... We could draw into it too, which is really crazy. But I think we want to just give something else more power. So we just go ahead and do that. Okay, there's the Venom.
Wakanda forever.
They do have priority, which is a little scary. But I think we just go ahead and Ironheart into Super-Skrull into Zola here. I mean, that should pretty much win us the game, I think, if I'm not mistaken. So we'll see here. See how it plays out. They have their own Knull, which is fine. And I think we just win here. I don't think that they can possibly beat us. We steal their Knull. And we have even more power. So I think this is kind of what's expected to be played. A crazy, crazy amount of power. Over 100 in every lane. This is kind of what I was saying earlier on in the deck tech, that if you're playing against a destroy deck, they're probably not going to see a Knull coming. And unfortunately for them, we didn't even really have a great draw when it came to like Mr. Negative giving us free stuff. But we just had that extra turn and we were able to just blast them with a ton of power. We actually won the middle lane by 1 power. So that was a good game. I'm glad we got another one for you. Again, like I said, this deck isn't going to get you a lot of consistent wins, but it'll definitely be really fun. So let's get you one more. Oh, wow, I messed that up. So let's get you one final match for game number 3. Hopefully we can get that one soon for you. I appreciate you guys for watching. I'll see you in a little bit. All right, here we are for game number 3. This is probably like 4 or 5 matches since the last win you saw. Unfortunately, with this deck, it is very draw dependent. So, but it is really fun when you can pull it off, like you saw in that last game. So, again, I'll make sure to have Nina's information down below, and I'll try to have the deck code in here. So I'm sorry if I don't have it in there. It's just sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. And sometimes it's a really huge link, and it just messes with things. So I will do my best to have it in there for you guys. But again, no guarantees. Hopefully we can get a good match here. We do have Magik, and we get Weird World, which is definitely not what we want. Fortunately, that doesn't help us with what we are trying to do. But we might be able to do something here with drawing from their deck, so hopefully we can get a little lucky. Alright, we did get Vision, which is pretty good. I think we just go ahead and Vision. They're probably gonna have a 6-drop card. There's their 6-drop. Just fine, we can move Vision around. Okay, so there's Magneto. I think we just go ahead and play Leech. There's the Iron Man. We do have Super-Skrull, so this can actually work out for us. If we Super-Skrull here and we go ahead and we could Super-Skrull. So Super-Skrull gives us the Iron Man, which is really good. I don't think that they're thinking they're going to play anything here because they just win. I think we can just go with this and have a chance to win here. Because this does win. Okay, they do play in the middle. which is 8 power. I don't know if this wins now. I don't think it does. Unfortunately, it doesn't, but we might pull it off, and we do with the Ironheart, which is fantastic. Okay, so that was a weird match. Unfortunately, it didn't really have a lot of the plays that we are trying to get with Mr. Negative and all that kind of stuff. But we did get Weird World on turn 3, which ended up causing us to have to pivot and play some weird match. But because of the Super-Skrull, we were able to get the Iron Man from their side, which is actually our card. But we got the benefit from that here, which allowed us to then Ironheart and get lucky on pulling. If they played anything over here, we probably just would have lost. But we did get really lucky, and 2 cards got hit here, which doubled the power again, and just ended up winning us that middle lane. So I am going to end it here. I'm not going to do any bonus matches on this one, unfortunately, and that's just because it's been so hard to get wins with this. And that's just because it is a Mr. Negative deck. So, but much props to Nina for posting this over on SnapFan. I appreciate it. And I will again have all of her socials in the link below in the description. So please go ahead and check her out. She is a fantastic creator, and I hope you guys enjoyed the video. And on Wednesday, I will be most likely posting a more competitive deck with a higher win rate. So hope you guys check that one out and have a good rest of your week. And I will see you guys on Wednesday. Peace out.